Talk to us about this idea of a referral generator. That's a key element to the entire Core 7 system.
Yeah, that's it. The Core 7 system really is, if it was based on one thing, that would be it. And the referral generator is a question that creates an opportunity to refer the proper professional on almost every interaction with the client. Basically, the referral generator goes like this. How is your relationship with your whatever professional you're going to refer, who specializes in whatever that client's need is? So let me give you an example of how that works. Let's say a client is concerned about saving for retirement. The referral generator would go like this. How is your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning?
That's fantastic. It will generate a definite answer every single time. So this could be anything. If a client wants to buy real estate for investment purposes, it would be, how's your relationship with your realtor who specializes in investment properties, right?
Absolutely. You just fill in the blanks. The bottom line is there's specific referral points for each professional in the group triggered by this question. And the best part, it's all for the benefit of the client.
Right. So all this is kind of in the name or the idea of putting together this wall, this protective wall, as we said, around the client. So you bring in the financial advisor, you bring in an estate planning attorney, you bring in a CPA. There's a specific methodology, so the right people are referring at the right time with the right scripting. Seems like anyone could execute this at any time, right?
Yes, I'd say that was accurate. Any of the Core 7 professionals that have strong communication skills could potentially refer all of the Core 7 partners. And no one is obviously going to complain when that happens. However, there are certain referral opportunities that are better than others. So a focus is put on referring the right partners at the right time. There are two reasons for this. At certain points in the business cycle, there's a better chance for a successful referral. And these referrals make more sense in that context. Let me give you an example of that. It's easier to purchase a home after you get comfortable with the mortgage financing. Just like it's easier to put a will in place after a client has spoke with a financial advisor and evaluated their entire life plan and goals with their family. And the second reason is making the referral is easier at these points. And what I mean by this is the client is more open and receptive and more likely to say yes. Let me give you an example of this. A client is going to be more receptive to speak to a financial advisor after having a conversation with a mortgage originator about cash flow, because they're going through the process of buying a home at that time. They view it as just more important and something they need to address. You see, Justin, if the referral is forced at the wrong time in the process or given by the wrong professional, it can make it less likely for your client to accept the referral because they don't clearly see the need at that time.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. The referrals have to make sense to the client. It has to make sense in the timing of their lives. If you're trying to sell them, life insurance and they're 22 years old or whatever the case is, it might not make sense at that time to them. So there has to be a sequential order.
When a client's having a child, they really start thinking about life insurance and college planning and stuff like that. It's more on their mind. So that's why the timing and the predictability of the referrals is very critical. I mean, this is what the mastermind groups are all based on. And it's these specific referral points that each professional is held accountable for in the meetings. So very simply, we ensure that the right professional is referred at the right time in the right sequence.
Mm-hmm. And in the end, all the partners contribute and are responsible for the group's success. It's sort of a balancing act that makes sense for the client. One of the things in the group that everyone should understand is that there's certain Core 7 professionals who have stronger and more frequent opportunities to make a referral. This is something that must be accepted by everyone in the group. Is just the nature of the business, right? The amount of referrals between the Core 7 are not going to be tit for tat. So give us an example of what we mean by that.
Yeah, Justin, that's a great point, and we should definitely make sure we address that. Let me give you an example. The mortgage originator will receive a lot more referrals from the realtor than the other way around. And the real estate attorney will give less referrals than the financial advisor will. You know, if the realtor and the financial advisor receive 1 or 2 referrals a year from the mortgage originator and the real estate attorney, that would be pretty good. I mean, it's as long as the activities are happening at the right time, that's what's important, because it's going to produce a positive result. You know, and the reason for this is the attorney and the mortgage officer, although they're extremely important to the system, they're just less likely to be in position to refer certain professionals because of the position in the process. You know, this can sometimes be frustrating, but it's a fact, and it's just natural to the business.
Yeah, the financial advisor, they're just seen as more of an advisory role, right?
Right. I mean, absolutely. The financial advisor and the accountant, you know, they have a better opportunity to refer almost all members of the Core 7 professionals simply because they're perceived more relational, whereas people come to them looking for advice. The other professionals, like the mortgage originator or the realtor, you know, they're sought out to do a specific transaction.
All right, so let's get into this. How do the referral targets work?
Well, each Core 7 professional has what we call a primary and a secondary referral target. The primary targets are the specific referrals that should happen on every client transaction every single time, and each professional should be held accountable for. The secondary targets, they happen frequently, but more in the natural flow of a specific professional's process. It's the primary referral targets that we focus on and manage in the Core 7 mastermind meetings.
So really, the primary targets every single time by every single Core 7 member, right? And the secondary, like you said, they happen naturally, but that's not really the focus. They come up when it makes sense.
Correct. You know, there are many referral opportunities that happen without even trying or even executing the system. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. The financial advisor and the accountant, you know, can easily refer a mortgage originator many times as, you know, refinancing opportunities present themselves. You know, now these referrals are great. You know, I receive a ton of referrals from those professionals. But the Core 7 system and the mastermind group meetings, they don't enforce the secondary targets as closely as the primary targets. The secondary referrals happen more organically, and you know they just happen naturally in the regular flow of the business.
Right. And the system itself is developed around these primary targets, and that's where the real accountability is.
Absolutely. That's where the focus and the tracking is.
Yep. So are there any points where you don't want the professional to make a referral?
Well, you know, as we said earlier, there's certain referrals that, you know, could possibly be made, but we actually don't want to focus on them because they would be out of sequence, you know, and they're better served coming from a more appropriate professional. Like let me give you an example of that. Like, you know, many real estate attorneys try to refer their clients at the closing to an estate planning attorney. You know, this is because attorney-to-attorney referrals are very common to the law field. However, although it can happen frequently, the real estate attorney is really not the ideal person to be making this referral for the client. The financial advisor is really the one that should be making the referral to the estate planner because it makes sense to know, you know, the types of assets someone has, you know, and just what their financial goals are before an estate plan is created.
Yeah. There's a saying. There's a lot of great estate plans with no assets in them. The financial advisor is the logical first step and should be the contact that refers the estate planning attorney. It makes sense that way, right, for the client's sake. All right, so let's walk through the steps for each professional, show the primary referral targets, and review the details involving the timing and scripting for the cross-sell referral. Make sense? And then after that, we can get into the secondary referral targets as well, just in a little less detail. Let's start talking about the Core 7 primary referral targets. Can you talk about the real estate agent's targets?
Absolutely. The realtor's 2 primary targets that they're supposed to focus on are the mortgage originator and the real estate attorney or escrow officer in certain states. Real estate agents have the unique ability to make this introduction every time because number one, the buyer needs a mortgage professional to obtain a loan. And number two, they need a real estate attorney to represent them, to do the purchase and sale and just structure everything. Now, what's really important is that the mortgage originator is introduced by the real estate agent as early on in the process before they found a house. This should happen in the buyer meeting. The most important thing is that the referral is made before the client purchases a home. So in the buyer meeting, you want to refer the lender before the home is purchased so you can get a pre-approval.
All right, that sounds good. I know in the Core 7 modules, the Realtor modules, the buyer meeting is explained in great detail. So how do you make this introduction? Do you do it by phone or email or?
The best way for the Core 7 Realtor to introduce the client to the loan officer is best made by email.
Can you read the email?
So this is what my Core 7 Realtor will send to his client with me on it. He'll say, Mark is the lender I refer. He takes a mortgage planning approach to find the best mortgage structure to maximize your tax benefits. He is going to reach out to you to set a time to discuss your options. He gets all of the documents required by the secondary market up front, and he will be a tremendous resource for you.
That email, I think, nailed it. It makes the introduction. It instructs the clients on exactly what they need to do for docs and what to expect. And most importantly, puts the responsibility and expectation of the follow-up into the loan officer's hands. It's perfect. So talk to me about the real estate attorney.
The realtor refers the real estate attorney immediately after the accepted offer. This way, the attorney can introduce themselves to the client and build rapport before the purchase and sale, therefore keeping the whole team in place. And at this point, the real estate attorney has the opportunity to create a lot of trust between the client and the team.
Yeah, the attorney plays a big role at this point and collaborates very closely with the realtor. It's critical to make this intro.
Absolutely. The realtor has a very important responsibility to control the relationships and the contacts up front. This will make the process flow very smoothly and keep everything organized.
Okay, let's review the secondary referral targets for the realtor.
Great. The secondary referral targets for the realtor are the financial advisor and the property and casualty insurance agent. Now just to note, in the realtor module, we show how the realtor should bring up the financial advisor in every buying meeting. Just by mentioning the financial advisor, it makes it easier for the loan officer to make the introduction because the buyer's expecting it. Typically if it's not mentioned, it could come off as a little bit of an unexpected surprise, and the conversion when making the introduction is not as high. But the rule we use for the Core 7 Realtor is if the client is more than 3 months from purchasing a home, the financial advisor should be introduced by the realtor. And if it's less, the realtor should introduce the mortgage originator. We believe that in many situations, the financial advisor should be the first contact to discuss how real estate fits into the client's overall financial plan. For example, to review, which accounts that are best to take the down payment from based on, the tax benefits. Maybe to set up a savings plan or to handle, many other financial decisions that should be considered at this point.
Yeah, so naturally, there's going to be referrals to the P&C agent that would come up when a client is working with the realtor, right?
Absolutely. So, the property and casualty insurance agent is best referred by the mortgage originator on a purchase loan because they have the insurance binder language that they can pass on. However, many times during the process, the real estate agent makes the introduction in their buyer meeting because it just comes up naturally. That's why it's a secondary referral target.
So in the mastermind groups, what questions are specifically asked of the realtor?
Question number 1, how many buyers and sellers are you actively working with that haven't purchased yet? Question number 2, how have the referrals gone regarding the loan officer on each client? Question number 3, how many referrals have you given that have gone under agreement or closed in the last month? Question number 4. How did the referrals go with the real estate attorney on each of those closings? Question number 5. How was the referral conversion for the mortgage originator and real estate attorney on these questions? Question number 6. Any other referrals? This would be where we'd address the secondary referral targets, and it's for tracking purposes on the website.
So the thing that I'll emphasize is that all of these questions, other than the last one, right, are focused on the primary targets and how the accountability is there. So talk to me now about the loan officer.
The mortgage originator's primary referral targets are the financial advisor and the property and casualty insurance agent. And there are 4 points where the mortgage originator refers the financial advisor.
All right, let's go over all 4 because I think this is a really big opportunity.
Okay, great. The first opportunity is right when the mortgage originator speaks to the client at consultation. And it segues into the referral generator. So here's how it sounds when first speaking with a client. Mr. Smith, I take a different approach than most mortgage originators, as I want to make sure the mortgage you select is integrated into your overall financial plan. How is your relationship with your financial advisor? This opens up the opportunity to refer many times right here. Many times they don't have a financial advisor, and it opens up the opportunity to mention that you're going to refer one.
So this is right in the beginning of your consultation. Is it the first thing you say?
Absolutely. First thing I say is, Mr. Smith, I want to make sure this is integrated into your overall financial plan. How's your relationship with your financial advisor?
All right, Mark. What's the second opportunity to refer the financial advisor?
The second referral point is the cash flow cross-sell, and it's done right when the mortgage originator lets the client know they'll be issuing a pre-approval. Here's how the cash flow cross-sell sounds. Mr. Smith, I'm going to issue a pre-approval letter, and I just want you to know that to get this loan amount, myself and all lenders use what's called debt-to-income ratios to calculate what you qualify for. This includes your mortgage payment and what we have on your debt based on your credit report. It doesn't include some of the lifestyle expenses like going out to dinner and travel. So what I'd like to recommend is that you speak with the advisor on my team who'd be willing to do a cash flow analysis for you just to make sure that this mortgage fits into your overall plan. Does that make sense?
So then, third thing to refer financial advisor?
The third opportunity for the mortgage originator is what we call the closing cross-sell. At every purchase closing, the mortgage originator makes a call congratulating the client on their new home and makes a suggestion to speak to the financial advisor. It's done very easily at the closing of a new purchase. Simply, the mortgage originator calls the client and says, congratulations on the closing of your new home. It's probably your largest expense to date. You have an estate now. You want to make sure that you protect it. How's your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in that?
That makes a lot of sense. Buying a home kicks off a lot of financial responsibilities that have to be protected. So now let's talk about if you're doing a refi and the refinance frees up monthly cash flow.
Great question, Justin. On a refinance where the client's interest rate has been dropped and cash flow has been freed up on a monthly basis, the closing cross-sell is much simpler. It's actually just an email with a spreadsheet that compares what their previous rate and payment was to their new rate and payment and suggests speaking with a financial advisor to review options on how to best reposition the savings to improve the overall financial plan.
Let's go over that. So you can show how the old loan compares to the new loan and bring the financial advisor back in. So if you freed up, let's say, $100 a month, they can immediately start investing it.
Absolutely, and as you know, that can grow to a very large amount over a 30-year period.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what's the fourth referral opportunity?
The fourth referral opportunity for the mortgage originator to refer the financial advisor is at what we call the mortgage review, where a few key questions are asked that just lead to the referral generator.
Mm-hmm. And this is a big one. Let's review some of the questions to create referrals for your financial partner.
Okay, so the most important question that a mortgage originator asks at this point is, what are your 2 to 10 year financial goals? And whatever the answer is, whether it be saving for retirement, protecting your family, building cash reserves. Every Core 7 mortgage originator should ask, how is your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in that need? So let me give you an example. Let's say they want to save for college. Let's say you ask the question, what are your 2 to 10 year financial goals? And the client says, we'd really like to save for college for our children. Say, that's great. How's your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in college savings?
So that could lead to a lot of opportunities like protecting your family, building up cash reserves. Let's say that your client asks or says that saving for retirement is a priority. Talk about how that would go.
Absolutely. It's just very easy. Just plug it into the referral generator. Basically, that's great. Mr. Smith, how is your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in retirement savings?
All right, so the second opportunity that the mortgage originator needs to focus on is property and casualty. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. So the property and casualty is a very, very easy cross-sell for the mortgage originator. It's really just a simple email that's sent during the process recommending the property and casualty insurance agent. We provide the insurance binder language that the bank requires. We also blind copy or copy the property and casualty insurance agent, so then they can respond to the client to set up a time to speak about this.
Mm-hmm. There's obviously going to be multiple opportunities, multiple secondary opportunities that emerge from the loan originator in the natural course of doing business.
Absolutely, there are multiple opportunities that we look for, as a Core 7 mortgage originator. The secondary professional referral targets for the mortgage originator are the real estate attorney and the real estate agent.
Talk about let's start with the real estate attorney.
Okay. That's pretty simple. The real estate attorney can be easily referred on refinances. And when the mortgage originator has closings that were referred by past clients or other partners that may need a real estate attorney referral, obviously that would be the lender's decision. What I like to do is I like to keep the Core 7 team together as much as I can. I don't like to fracture any networks that people have. I want to be sure that every client has a full Core 7 team in place that they trust.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. All right, now let's talk about the realtor and discuss how rare it is, but possible, to make these referrals. I know you've had great success with this individually, but it is rare from a loan officer standpoint.
Yeah, that's true. But believe it or not, the realtor can be referred by the mortgage originator pretty frequently. This is how I was able to give 18 referrals that closed to my realtor. There are 2 points in the Core 7 process where this is possible. They are what I call the refi referral and the mortgage review that we discussed earlier. So let's start with the refi referral. The refi referral is an opportunity that presented itself when the new appraisal rules came about. It happens when discussing a refinance where it really makes sense to know what the property value is beforehand to see if it even makes sense to move forward with the refi. So let's say the client, for example, they're looking to refinance and they need to know what the value is to see if the loan makes sense. Like, for example, if the appraisal were to come in low, the client would now need mortgage insurance, and the additional cost would make the refinance a bad move, and it wouldn't save the client any money. I don't want the client to move forward and take the chance of losing their deposit for the appraisal, because when this happens, you most likely lose the trust of the client and their future business. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to refer my Core 7 realtor partner to do what we call an equity assessment before moving forward with this refinance. This will help the customer make the decision if attempting the refinance is even worth it and risking their deposit.
That's a good point. Without knowing what the value will come in at, you can't be sure if the refi even makes sense, right? How do you explain to your client why your Core 7 real estate agent is willing to do this?
Great question. There's very specific scripting when introducing the assessment, and also to address why your Core 7 realtor is willing to do this. Here's how I suggest it. After I discuss that my realtor will provide the equity assessment, I'll say, Mr. Smith, I want to let you know why my realtor is willing to do this. Number one, it's a great service to help my clients. And secondly, he does this to add value to you. So that if you're ever buying or selling a property, or have a friend or a family member who is, he'll have the opportunity to earn your business or earn your referrals. Does that make sense?
That's just awesome. Who wouldn't want something like that if the refi makes sense? Tell me about where the other opportunities are for the loan originator to generate referrals for their realtor partners.
Another great opportunity is at the mortgage review. It's very simple to refer the realtor just by using the referral generator question. When we do this review, I basically ask, what are your 2 to 10 year goals regarding real estate? Now, whatever your client tells you is important. Whether it's buying a second home, purchasing an investment property, downsizing, moving to a specific city like Boston, for example. You just plug the answer into the referral generator. Like, let me give you an example. If the client says they are looking for a second home, I'll say, that's great. How's your relationship with your realtor who specializes in second homes? If they're looking for an investment property, it's the same thing. How's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in investment property? People may not be buying right away, but the key to the Core 7 system is it's designed to stay in touch long term. So by saying this, if they don't have a realtor relationship, the introduction can be made and contact can be made over time so that when that need presents itself, they're there to take the ball and run with it.
As I said earlier, all the scripts are really great. Now I can really see how you're able to give your Core 7 realtor so many referrals.
Yeah, it's not easy, and it's something you always have to remember, but it's critical and can be so valuable. For all the mortgage originators, how much more valuable would you be to your realtors if you were able to give referrals back? Being able to do this changed the way my relationships were with my realtor partner. It creates a true partnership, and it doesn't need to be tit for tat. The fact is that most realtors aren't receiving any referrals from their mortgage originator partner. So if a mortgage originator is to give a real estate agent 1 or 2 referrals that close a year, that would be huge. That's a huge improvement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when do you do these mortgage reviews?
That's a phenomenal question that I'm glad you asked. The truth is, anytime I can. Even when people call to inquire about a refinance that doesn't make sense, like if someone calls me and their rate is 4% and the market rate is 5%, I'll still speak to them on the phone. And right when I assure them, you're doing great on your mortgage, you've locked in a very low rate, I immediately segue to the mortgage review and ask them if they have time for a couple questions so I can make sure I'm keeping up with their needs. Mm-hmm. And then I just basically, pull out my mortgage review and ask the questions that I'm systematically looking for referrals. That's the point, is to find a need that I can plug into the referral generator.
Mm-hmm. The financial advisor and the property and casualty agent are primary referrals for the loan originator. Can you talk about, again, when these are reviewed in the mastermind groups?
Yeah, these are the 2 primary referral targets that should be discussed, tracked, and monitored at each mastermind group meeting to be sure the referrals are executed properly. And these are the questions that are on the agenda. Question number 1, how many clients have you pre-approved in the last month? Question number 2, how did the referral opportunities for the financial advisor go at the loan consultation, specifically the cash flow cross-sell? Question number 3, how many closings did you have this month? Question number 4, how did the property and casualty cross-sell go? Question number 5, how did the closing cross-sell go on refinances and purchases? How many mortgage reviews did you do this past month? And how did the referral generator cross-sell go? These questions will create great dialogue that everyone in the group can learn from.
And again, I'm going to emphasize the fact that all these questions focus on the primary referral targets, not the secondary.
Yes, the secondary referral targets, those happen organically, and they're going to happen, and it's great. But what we want to manage is the primary referral targets so that we can make sure that it's a predictable, systematic, accountable action that happens with every single client, so you can really track referrals.
Yeah, that's the base of the system in a lot of ways. Let's talk about the real estate attorney.
The real estate attorney is not in position to refer as much as some of the other professionals.
Yeah, they're really at the tail end of the transaction.
Yes, and it's more difficult, but there are some points that they need to be focused on where there are opportunities. In my opinion, the closing attorney needs to work twice as hard to make sure they execute on their referral targets, because it's very easy for the real estate attorney to receive a ton of referrals from the Core 7 system, and it's difficult for them to generate outgoing referrals. So every cross-sell opportunity should be maximized.
Yeah, this would be a great way for a real estate attorney to really stand out. Who are the primary targets for the real estate attorney?
The first referral target for the real estate attorney is the property and casualty insurance agent. And this is done when the client is signing the purchase and sale. Now, the realtor and the mortgage originator may have already referred the client to the property and casualty insurance agent. So it's still something the attorney should do each and every time on every deal, but it may have been, the connection may have already been made. So it's good to reinforce it. I think it's really important because there's going to be many closings when the attorney is not working with their Core 7 mortgage originator or realtor. The attorney can achieve this simply by asking the client at purchase and sale if their realtor or mortgage originator has referred them to a P&C agent to handle their insurance. I mean, it's just a simple question at purchase and sale.
That's interesting. Let me ask you a question. What if the client was referred to the attorney by a different loan officer that isn't in the Core 7 group?
That's a great question, Justin, and many attorneys, many real estate attorneys have voiced this concern to me, but it really should not be a problem. I mean, you make sure it's noted that this client is not to be, referred to the mortgage originator. The real estate attorney, they're supposed to, as we'll go over later, they're supposed to refer the financial advisor, and as long as the financial advisor knows that this client belongs to another mortgage originator, everything works out great, as long as they have the full coverage of the Core 7 network.
Yeah, we're not looking to step on toes, right?
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about the second primary referral target for the real estate attorney.
Great. The second primary referral target is the financial advisor. This cross-sell is very similar to the mortgage originator's closing cross-sell. And the way that our Core 7 closing attorney does it is that every single closing, when he's congratulating the client on the closing of the new home, he simply asks the referral generator question. It's very simple. He says, "Congratulations on the closing of your new home. You have an estate now. How is your relationship with your financial advisor that specializes in that?"
This is huge because, again, the purchase of a home kicks off so many other financial responsibilities and liabilities. I think it's worth repeating, and it's really the crux of our whole system. When someone buys a home, especially a first-time home buyer, it's critical that they start their financial plan. That's why this should be done at every closing. Even when the closing does not include your Core 7 partners, even if they say no and it puts it on their radar screen. Mark, would you say this is the case?
Absolutely. There's been many times where, I've just done the scripting of the Core 7 process. The client may say no or they're not interested at this time, and I've had clients reach out to me months later asking this referral. At a minimum, it puts it in the client's mind that I'm the resource when it comes to financial literacy, financial advice. It happens. It's definitely something you always do.
Yep. This is great for a purchase, but what does the real estate attorney do if it's a refi closing?
It still makes sense to follow the system. It's just a small tweak to the scripting. Instead of saying, "Congratulations, you have an estate now," the attorney would say, congratulations on your refinance. You may have had some changes in your estate that need reviewing. How is your relationship with your advisor who specializes in estate planning? And again, you want to refer the financial advisor because it's better for them to introduce the estate planning once they find out what the assets and the structure and the goals are.
Right, right. So even small changes can sometimes make a huge difference, right?
Absolutely.
So on to secondary for the attorney. What are the secondary targets?
There are no secondary referral targets for the attorney. All other efforts, I think, are really not the best use of their time. It's, just focus on the primary, and because the secondary just, would be something that that's really not the best use of their time.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So the attorney should just stay focused on P&C and the financial advisor.
Absolutely. This is a huge opportunity for the real estate attorney to add value to the financial advisor, which trickles down to value to the realtor and to the mortgage originator and eventually to everyone else in the group. It's just a great way, for the attorney to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a tougher sell, but it can create a ton of value when it's successful.
Yeah, you're right. It's the real estate attorney is benefiting constantly from realtor referrals, mortgage professional referrals, and financial professional referrals. And this is the way that they can give back. Again, it doesn't have to be tit for tat, but it's the effort, and it will be beneficial, and it avoids any type of food chain thinking. Everyone in the Core 7 has a clear focus and an action plan that can benefit the whole group and ultimately, of course, the client.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So again, the primary target should always be reviewed at the Core 7 mastermind meetings. What are the questions that should be asked at these meetings?
For the real estate attorney, the questions to make sure that are addressed are, number one, how many closings did you do this month? Number two, how did the financial advisor closing cross-sell go on those closings? Number three, how many purchase and sales did you do this month? And how did the property and casualty cross-sell go at those purchase and sales?
Mm-hmm. Again, focusing on the primary targets. All right, Mark, let's review the financial professionals. We'll start with the financial advisor.
Okay, great. But before we review the financial professionals, who are the financial advisor, the accountant, the estate planning attorney, and the property and casualty insurance agent, let's review a dynamic that I think is critical for everyone to understand first. What everyone needs to understand that's in the Core 7 is the four financial professionals are constantly doing business and referring each other. If these four professionals are not constantly referring business to each other, they aren't doing any business at all. It's important to understand that clearly. They're just always referring. Talk about, secondary referral targets. These happen all the time. They really need each other.
Yeah, this is so true. If they're not collaborating, basically the clients don't have a plan. It's absolutely necessary that they work together.
I agree. When a full financial plan is created, all four professionals are needed. I mean, it starts when the plan is created by the financial advisor and the investments are made. Then you have to do a will and an estate plan. So the estate planning attorney has to do that to protect the assets. They need to be protected from lawsuits. So the property and casualty insurance agent needs to review an umbrella policy to protect that. And of course, there's always tax planning that has to be considered. So you obviously need the accountant. It's all four need to work together. It's critical.
Yeah. And once the financial advisor makes the plan, everything else falls into place. But you have to have that start with the plan. All right, I want to talk about each individual professional now, and let's start with the property and casualty agent. Who are the property and casualty agent's primary targets?
The primary referral targets for the P&C agent are the financial advisor and the realtor.
Now, I would assume that these would be after the purchase because the P&C agents are not really in a great position to refer during the purchase.
Yes, that's correct. During the purchase of a home, it's difficult for the property and casualty agent to refer. The only real strong opportunity to refer is when they're reviewing a client's insurance policy. I think they should be discussing the umbrella policy And reviewing the umbrella policy and protecting assets, typically creates a discussion around asset protection and reviewing their insurances together. So it does create the opportunity to ask the referral generator question. Basically, we're reviewing your insurances together. How's your relationship with your financial advisor? But other than that, during the process, they don't have the opportunities. So the P&C agent would ask these questions after the purchase closing. You're correct.
Reviewing the insurances together makes a lot of sense. I mean, you want to work with your client to understand that they have the proper coverages in place, the proper amounts in place, right? So it makes perfect sense. Now, Mark, the mortgage originator has probably already made the introduction to the financial advisor?
Yes. On a purchase, the financial advisor may have been introduced multiple times. The realtor may have made the introduction during the buyer meeting. The mortgage originator should have made the introduction at consultation. So the property and casualty agent may just be reinforcing the importance of speaking to a financial advisor.
Yeah, it's definitely important for the PNC agent to still mention it. It reinforces the idea of making that contact. Mark, what about the second primary target for the PNC agent?
The secondary primary target is the real estate agent. The key here is for the property and casualty insurance agent to remember each and every time they get to the section on their fact finder that discusses real estate values, that they are asking about property values, which is critical in calculating net worth. And this is the time to ask about the relationship with the real estate agent who specializes in equity assessments. So whenever you get to that, what's the value of your real estate? If they know, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in equity assessments? It's critical to calculating net worth, and it should be asked every single time.
Yeah, I gotcha. We've gone over this many times during this interview. It should be really easy at this point.
Yeah, it really is a great opportunity. It's, in the past 3 years when we've interviewed so many different financial professionals across the country, we found that a majority of them have software programs for this specific purpose of calculating real estate value. The financial software that these financial firms now have a real estate valuation component. I think this presents a fantastic opportunity to refer a realtor.
Yeah, I agree, but let's just so we all understand, can you explain more exactly how that would work?
Well, it's really easy to just say to the client, Mr. Smith, the online property evaluation of your home is saying $400,000. But I have to tell you, online value estimates are really not that accurate, and you want to be sure of this. How's your relationship with your realtor who specializes in equity assessments?
This creates a great opportunity.
I agree. It's an opportunity not only for the property and casualty insurance agent, but all the Core 7 professionals. Think of it this way. All the professionals have opportunities to ask their clients about the value of their real estate.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. Each client needs to know the value of their property.
Right. I mean, the financial advisor, the accountant, the estate planning attorney, and the property and casualty insurance agent need to know the value of the real estate to calculate a client's total net worth. And the real estate attorney, mortgage originator, and obviously the realtor need to know the value for property sales and loans.
I agree, Mark. Net worth is not only a scorecard, but also can be as volatile as an investment.
That's true, Justin. And I feel the referral generator, when discussing value, is the best opportunity for everyone in the group, because buying a home is usually someone's first big financial move, and the realtor meeting all of the client's network, it's the best opportunity to start the referral train so they can get a full group together.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% true. Let's go over the mastermind group meeting questions for the PNC agent.
Okay, great. The questions that need to be asked at each and every meeting are: number one, how many clients have you discussed an umbrella policy or reviewing your insurances together this month? How did the referral to the financial advisor go? Question number three, How many have discussed updating asset protection and review of their net worth? And how did the referral to your realtor partner for an equity assessment go?
And again, there's the accountability. You're asking very specific questions about how they went about referring their primary targets. All right, now let's do the financial advisor. I know it's a little redundant.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the financial advisor has the ability to give the most referrals of any of the core 7 professionals. The uniqueness of the financial advisor, the accountant, and the estate planning attorney is that people come to them asking for direction. They're basically saying, tell me what to do. Whereas with the other professionals, there's usually a specific transaction that needs to take place. The financial advisor also, in my opinion, is the quarterback of the person's financial plan. I always joke and say they're not the coach, but they're the quarterback. They need to be involved in every decision that the client makes, as they're kind of keeping the full financial plan together.
Yeah, I agree. I think the financial advisor is the professional who's able to refer the most professionals, the other members of the core 7 at one time. They're designing the life plan ultimately. With all the opportunities they have, who are the actual primary targets for the financial planner?
The primary targets for the financial advisor are the estate planning attorney and the real estate agent. The financial advisor making the referral to the estate planning attorney is very clear and easy to understand. I mean, everyone needs estate planning. At a minimum, a simple will, healthcare proxy, and a durable power of attorney. And as their estate grows with future real estate purchases, investments, they'll need the estate planning attorney services not just once, but for always making these adjustments as their life changes.
Yeah, it's the thing that I think a lot of people tend to put aside is that they need to constantly be updating these policies and plans as their lives do change, and it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, it's definitely not a one-time event.
Nope.
This is an easy handoff for the financial advisor, but it has to be managed to be sure it's happening in each and every client discussion. There is no client who should not speak to a estate planning attorney right after they put their financial plan together.
Yeah, right. Well, why create a plan if you're not going to protect it? All right, Mark, let's talk about the other primary target for the financial advisor.
The other primary target for the financial advisor is the realtor, and I want to make sure we focus on this because there's multiple opportunities. As we discussed earlier, when figuring out a client's net worth, the property value always needs to be discussed. It leads right to, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in equity assessments. It's something that can come up very easily. Just like a retirement account, property values can change very frequently. And an equity assessment of all of a client's properties are necessary, I think, at least once a year.
No, for sure. One of the things that Core 7 teaches its financial advisor members is to calculate a client's net worth every client review. We go over our top advisors process in the financial professionals module as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's extremely important. Financial advisors, they're always discussing client goals. And many of them have to do with real estate. And there are so many opportunities to make the introduction to your realtor partner by simply asking a very simple question at every client meeting that we mentioned earlier. What are your 2 to 10 year goals involving real estate? Mm-hmm. This question will lead to many opportunities for.
Yeah, let me guess. The referral generator.
Yeah. Exactly. So, whatever a client's goals are, creates the opportunity to ask the referral generator. Like as we said earlier, if their goals are investment properties, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in investment property? If it's second homes, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in second homes? One I like is if they're thinking of moving one day, let's say they're moving to Boston, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in properties in Boston? Mm-hmm. Even if they're downsizing, mm-hmm. If you have a client who's downsizing to a condo, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in downsizing.
Yeah, there's really no reason that the financial advisor shouldn't be able to do this every time and be successful with the referral generator. Some of the financial advisors meet with 10 to 20 new and old clients a week. They just need to make sure that they're asking these questions.
Yeah, I mean, this is how our Core 7 Realtor was able to add so many people to their database.
Yeah, now the secondary targets are frequently there for the financial advisor. There's tons of them.
Right, and that's actually the only slight hurdle is the fact that there's so much opportunity for the financial advisor that they actually have to be more disciplined than the others to stay focused on cross-selling their primary referral targets.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you're in a position to refer and refer and refer, but you could actually be doing the client a disservice or doing your partners in Core 7 a disservice. The key is to stay focused on primary targets with every client. Give us some examples of these secondary targets.
Well, number one, there's always tax questions that the accountant will be needed to be brought in for. That's self-explanatory. Again, there's always protection needs versus against lawsuits that they need the property and casualty insurance agent to look at umbrella policies to protect that. And there's always refinance opportunities where the mortgage originator is needed. There's a fantastic opportunity for the mortgage originator and for the financial advisor that I think's overlooked. I mean, every single time that cash flow is freed up for a client, there's an opportunity to reposition this money for investment. I mean, if a client lowers their monthly payment by refinancing, they can increase their monthly dollar cost averaging by the amount they're saving. With the Core 7 system, this is systematic and can really make a difference for your clients. Because as we know, I mean, incremental investment can grow to a small fortune over time.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. More financial advisors should try to get every client to the loan officer because it presents an opportunity to free up cash flow.
Yes, it is an enormous opportunity. It's really easy to implement. At every refinance closing, I let my financial advisor partner know that it's time to discuss capitalizing on the savings with their client.
Now, all right, let's move on to the questions at the mastermind group. What are those?
Great. The main points for the financial advisor that you want to make sure are focused on at the mastermind meeting is, number one, how many clients did they speak with this month? How did the referral generator cross-sell to the estate planning attorney go? Number three, how did the equity assessment cross-sell to the real estate agent go? How many active client reviews did you do? Were they all introduced to the estate planning attorney? Number six, how did the equity assessment cross-sell go to your realtor partner when net worth was discussed? And what other referrals were made?
And again, all this is tracked on the tracking grid. Who's next? What's the next professional?
The next professional is the estate planning attorney. The estate planning attorney's referral targets are very similar to financial advisors. Again, they're in more of an advisory role, so they're viewed as more relational and less transactional, and it's easier for them to make certain referrals, and they're in a very trustworthy role.
Who are the primary referral targets?
The estate planning attorney's primary referral targets are the financial advisor and the realtor.
So it's pretty similar to the financial advisor, but I still think it's worth going over, right?
Yes. The accountant, the estate planning attorney, and the financial advisor have similarities in, they're very much alike in their primary target cross-selling responsibilities. Just like the financial advisor, they should recommend an equity assessment and refer the Core 7 real estate partner to make sure net worth is accurate. And again, for the realtor, this is typically a quick 5-minute rapport-building phone call with the end result being permission to stay in touch and for the realtor to be a resource moving forward.
Yeah, we go over all this in much more detail in the modules. Now, like the financial advisor, another very easy segue for the estate planning attorney is when reviewing the property section of their fact finder.
Absolutely. Many times the client will own multiple properties. As an estate planning attorney, It's easy to just say, I see you own multiple properties. What are your plans with these properties? Will they be sold? Will they be passed on? All of these questions create a great opportunity to ask the referral generator question and introduce your Core 7 real estate agent partner.
Yes, yep. In these situations, value assessments are always needed. So it's easy to introduce a realtor partner using the referral generator.
Correct. And many times they hire an appraiser, which can cost them money, and they could actually use a realtor who would do it just for the relationship.
Yep. Who's the secondary primary referral target?
The secondary target for the estate planning attorney is the financial advisor. There are many great opportunities for the estate planning attorney to introduce the financial advisor. In my opinion, the best opportunity is that the clients need to consistently review their estate plans and what are the best vehicles to pass on their assets to their heirs. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they view an estate plan as a one-time event. It's constantly evolving based on, new purchases of investment products, real estate. It's just constantly changing and constantly needs to be updated.
So like the accountant and financial advisor, there's going to be a lot of secondary referral targets. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The secondary referral targets for the estate planning attorney are the accountant and the property and casualty insurance agent. Just like with the financial advisor, with estate planning, there are many tax questions that come up when the accountant is needed. There's protection needs regarding a client's assets where the property and casualty insurance agent is needed to talk about an umbrella. Justin, we described earlier how the property and casualty insurance agent, the estate planning attorney, the accountant, and the financial advisor are always collaborating on a client's financial plan.
Yeah, give us a few examples.
Well, as we said earlier, once a financial plan is created, the estate planner is needed to create a will. There are always tax ramifications that need to be discussed where you need an expert accountant. And again, as we said earlier, if you have a lot of assets, you have to protect them from lawsuits. It's very, very common. So a property and casualty insurance agent would definitely be needed.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, mastermind groups. Talk about the questions asked at the mastermind groups.
For the estate planning attorney, number one, how many clients have you discussed estate planning with this month? Number two, when you were reviewing their net worth, how did the referral generator work when introducing the financial advisor? And how did the referral generator work when introducing the real estate agent when discussing value and when properties came up?
It's so important to make sure that these actions are monitored. If one of the professionals is not doing their job, it really can hurt everyone in the group. It's like I said before, it's a balance. All right, I would think the one-on-ones are even more important for these professionals.
Yes, absolutely. The one-on-one small group meetings are even more important for the financial professionals because they have multiple products and strategies that need to be addressed in detail. So, every member of the Core 7 should have some idea of everyone's products, but there is an increased importance for the estate planning attorney, accountant, property and casualty insurance agent, and the financial advisor. This all creates great opportunity to refer and add value to the whole group.
Yeah, just they need to educate themselves a little bit more about what their partner's doing. All right, so let's review the accountant now.
Well, the accountant, as we all know, has an incredible opportunity. Just like the financial advisor, they have the opportunity to refer, almost every professional, just from the organic nature of their business. I mean, they're viewed as an advisor.
Yeah, it's like the financial advisor. It's the same sort of thing. People look to them for advice.
Right, and here's the big thing. A critical advantage for the accountant is that everyone needs to speak with their accountant every single year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge benefit. The annual review is built in every year.
It's the one professional that interaction is required. Transactional and relational aspects are combined where there's 100% trust in following recommendations, and everyone needs to do their taxes every year. Yep. All of the other professionals, it's typically on a voluntary basis, which creates procrastination on the client's part. So the accountant really has a unique opportunity.
Yeah, the procrastination is one of the biggest enemies to a financial plan. The earlier the better. It gives more time for a financial plan, cheaper life insurance, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, exactly. That's why the accountant's participation is so critical. People come to the accountant, like I said, like the financial advisor and the estate planning attorney, looking for advice on what financial moves to make. So the sooner the recommendation is made, the better it is for the client. The big issue I have found is accountants sometimes don't look for the opportunity to refer. And I think it's because they're just doing so many tax returns that they're just getting through it and they're not really focusing on which partners to refer.
Yeah, I agree, Mark. With just a couple of introductory emails, the accountant can get the ball rolling with someone who normally may procrastinate. I also agree that the best thing about the accountant is a built-in required annual review because everyone has to do their taxes on a yearly basis. Less than 10% of the people review their financial plan on a yearly basis simply because they don't have to do it. So, who are the accountant's primary referral points in the Core 7 standards? Since, like the financial advisor, they have so many opportunities.
Yeah, the primary referral targets for the accountant are the financial advisor and the real estate agent. And very similar to the financial advisor, the trick is that the accountant has to stay focused on their primary referral targets because they really do have so many opportunities.
Right. All right. Well, let's start with the financial advisor.
Great. When it comes to the accountant, referring the financial advisor, there is a ton of opportunity just from a simple tax return.
Sure, there are tons, but give us a few examples.
That's very true. The accountant has the authority to ask questions very bluntly. For example, have you considered that you may be too heavily invested in non-taxable funds? Do you have enough life insurance if something were to happen to you? Do you have enough disability insurance if you could ever, if you were unable to work? Have you thought about college planning for your children? This all leads into how is your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in this area?
Absolutely, Mark. There are so many questions from a single 1040 that create opportunities for this kind of referral. How would an accountant introduce a financial advisor to a high net worth individual?
That's a great question, and it's important for an accountant where it's common to be working with someone who has significant assets. Using the umbrella policy to introduce the financial advisor is a good segue. The accountant would say, you have significant assets. How is your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in working with clients who have a net worth over $5 million, depending on what their net worth is?
Yeah, it's good stuff, Mark. Tell us about some of the other opportunities.
When it comes to the accountant, there's just so many opportunities to refer a financial advisor. Another great opportunity is for the self-employed business owner. Many times the accountant is the only advisor they have. So a great question is, tell me about your team. Who other than me is helping you manage the important decisions regarding your business? Mm-hmm. How is your relationship with your financial advisor who can help us with that? I mean, there's just so much opportunity.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It's a great opportunity because the accountant referrals are taken so seriously.
Absolutely. The accountant is viewed by the client as an expert and respected advisor. It should be very easy to ask the referral generator question to each and every client they speak with.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It would be easy to ask that question for anyone in Core 7, but even easier for the accountant. So all of these questions could be used as segues for all of the Core 7 partners when they discuss this information.
Yes, that's true. And as we mentioned earlier, the partners who understand everyone else's role in the Core 7 system, they find and create the most opportunities, and the end result is more referrals. And the fact is that the partners that give the most referrals also receive the most referrals.
Yeah, and there are unlimited opportunities to refer the financial advisor, who's basically the quarterback of somebody's life plan. So who are the other primary targets for the accountant?
Like many of the other professionals, the realtor is the other primary referral target for the accountant. This is very simple. As we discussed earlier, if the client owns property, just like the financial advisor, it's easy for an accountant to ask how their relationship is with their realtor, who specializes in equity assessments. and then discuss an introduction to the Core 7 Realtor partner for an equity assessment so an accurate net worth calculation can be done. Very, very simple, easily done.
Yeah, no, I think the accountant has an awesome opportunity if the client doesn't own a property by discussing the tax benefits of home ownership. What if the client doesn't own a property?
That's a great point to bring up, Justin. I actually think the accountant may be the most important professional to address this because they are the only financial professional that's going to be talking to a new client who doesn't own a home. As we've mentioned earlier, they probably haven't spoken to a financial advisor because the purchase of the home is usually their number one first financial investment.
Yep.
So, for example, if a client doesn't own a property, this is a great opportunity for the accountant to discuss the benefit of home ownership and also where the client wants to live. This tees up the referral generator. Let's say the client says they would love to live in Boston. It's a perfect segue to just say, great, how's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in properties in Boston?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the secondary targets for the accountant.
The secondary referral targets for the accountant are the property and casualty insurance agent, the estate planning attorney, and the mortgage originator. And very similarly to the financial advisor, the accountant should make introductions to these professionals at the proper time as they naturally happen. As I said earlier, the accountant and the financial advisor have so much opportunity that they have to be more disciplined and stay more focused on their primary referral targets.
Mm-hmm. Give some examples of the secondary targets so we can all be clear on that.
Sure. A great example is the mortgage originator when rates are lower. And again, I stress that the goal here is to free up cash flow for dollar cost averaging. I mean, these are the opportunities where people can increase their retirement savings and really, really make a difference.
And I'd like to point out one of the advantages of the Core 7 meetings is that all the partners in Core 7 are kept up to date on things like where rates are, some good investments to make. They just share information either in the group meetings or the one-on-one meetings.
Absolutely. The consistent meetings will keep you up to speed with the mortgage industry as well as some of the other industry norms. I mean, these are the types of things that are specifically discussed in the one-on-one partnership meetings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just by getting together systematically can make all the difference. Give us a quick overview of the format you follow for the one-on-one meetings or the partnership planning sessions.
The one-on-one meetings are very simple. I'll give it a very high-level explanation. Basically, how are we doing? How are we doing on the key cross-selling points, and what can we do to be better? Those three questions. That's it. Just to really discuss and hone the process and get some real honest, candid feedback.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go over the mastermind questions that are asked of the accountant.
Great. The questions that need to be asked at each meeting. Question number 1, how many clients did you speak with last month? Question number 2, how did your clients respond to the referral generator to refer the financial advisor? Question number 3, how did the equity assessment cross-sell of your realtor go? And question number 4, if it's tax time, how many tax returns did you do? And have you been cross-selling by email and when you speak with your clients?
It's hard to hide from these questions. It's difficult to say no to these referrals. One of the things I've noticed is that there are people who are a bit fearful of referring because they think it reflects badly on them.
Yeah, and many professionals refuse to refer because they fear the referral could possibly create a bad reflection on them if the client is not super satisfied with the service. Let me give you an example, like for a mortgage professional, like on a refinance that can have a lot of tedious paperwork and unexpected delays. People get frustrated and they view it as it might be a bad reflection on them. I mean, personally, I think this is selfish. The client is benefiting, and it's the job of the referring professional to help the clients understand this. Let me give you an example of what I mean in a situation that I've had is my financial advisor got into this situation on a mortgage refinance, and the process was more difficult than the client anticipated. and they were frustrated by the process. My Core 7 financial advisor stepped in and brought them back to reality just by stressing the purpose of the refinance was to free up cash flow for investment, and explained that the $150 a month that we were freeing up in cash flow by this refinance was worth the stress, and that the process was normal and that I was doing a good job. It was, he really just brought the client back to the goal, the original goal of the process. Because it is a frustrating process, and can be, but it should never stop you for referring, because it's really best for the client.
This is kind of our secret service rule, as we call it. It means to protect the integrity of the team at all times. There's one more opportunity that all Core 7 members should look out for, and that's offering their services to companies.
Yes, this is the one cross-sell opportunity that every professional in the Core 7 needs to look for. With every client, you should always, at the right time, be asking for the opportunity to potentially speak with someone of influence at their company. Being able to offer lunch and learn workshops for the company's employees is a huge opportunity, especially when you can approach these companies as a Core 7 team that works together. Just to note, our resource center contains marketing, presentations that are specific for companies, and it's just something to always be looking out for. I just want to make sure we mention that.
Yeah, and all these materials are easy enough to print off from the resource center. Everything is there to be able to do these presentations. Just think about being able to approach a company and offer a no-cost team of advisors for all their employees. At a minimum, this is a resource that's valuable. So, Mark, we've spent time going over every single facet of Core 7. Let's bring this home. Let's see all this in action.
Great. Now, the focus is only going to be on the primary referral targets for each professional. In the certification modules, we address everything in much more detail, but for this example, I'm only going to focus only on the primary targets and the most common referral points. So, let's start with the realtor. And let's say, the realtor's working with a homeowner, and the natural referral is to the mortgage consultant and the real estate attorney.
So this should happen every time, because the realtor is the quarterback of the home purchase.
Yes. Now, after the realtor refers these professionals, if the mortgage originator is doing their part and introducing the financial advisor with either the cash flow cross-sell at loan consultation, or by the closing cross-sell, which can be done by either the mortgage originator or the real estate attorney, if that's happening, the advisor is being introduced.
Yeah, the trick is to make sure that it's happening, right? These things have to happen or it's not going to succeed. So talk to me about how often these convert.
I'd say about 50% convert and actually meet with the financial advisor. But it should still be done every single time, because as I said earlier, clients have come back to me a year later and have asked me for this financial advisor referral. I'm establishing that I'm their financial resource for the introduction to this financial advisor.
So now the referral has gone from the realtor to the loan officer to the real estate attorney, and has now been introduced to the financial advisor. What's next?
So now the financial advisor starts working with the client to create a financial plan. And the other Core 7 professionals are brought in to complete the plan and complete the client's financial team.
Mark, elaborate a little bit more on that.
As we said earlier, so they're meeting with the financial advisor, they're putting together a financial plan, and at a minimum, they're going to need to talk with an estate planning attorney to discuss a will, power of attorney, and a healthcare proxy. They should discuss, if they have any assets, they should discuss an umbrella policy with the property and casualty insurance agent. And the accountant should be there to review some tax planning now that they're going to own a home for, the interest deduction and stuff. So the financial advisor is bringing in all the other professionals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the financial advisor, if they do a plan, all the other professionals will absolutely be needed. There may not be, for example, a tax need right at that point, but having a tax expert in place is a huge benefit.
Yes. As we discussed earlier, these 4 professionals are constantly working and collaborating together. And it's the client who benefits the most because every time a home is purchased, the client has the opportunity to get their whole financial team together immediately, right when they make what is typically their first major financial investment of their life. You know, as you said multiple times, buying a home kicks off so many other financial needs.
Yeah, the younger you are when you start planning, the better. It's cheaper. Things have more time to develop. It makes perfect sense. Now that the client has the Core 7 team in place, talk about the benefits to the realtor.
That's a great question, Justin. Now, the way the realtor benefits the most is because the financial advisor, the accountant, the P&C agent, and the estate planning attorney are benefiting from every purchase. If the mortgage originator and the real estate attorney are doing their job cross-selling, everyone benefits. So because of this, the financial advisor, the estate planning attorney, the P&C insurance person, and the accountant all see the benefit of introducing the realtor as much as they possibly can, because the realtor is the first professional that a person typically meets, because the home is usually their first major transaction. So each time they introduce their clients to their real estate partner, the realtor creates the opportunity to meet that client's network, family, and will take them through the same process.
Mark, let me break this down in a real simple way. It benefits the whole Core 7 team when the realtor meets a client because the friends and family of that client are likely to contact the realtor first. As the logical first step in someone's life, and once a home is purchased, all of these professionals are needed.
Exactly. So the financial professionals are making the introductions to the realtor using the referral generator all the time. So when these clients are purchasing new homes, all members are benefiting.
And now it's a predictable, systematic cycle.
Absolutely. The main purpose of the Core 7 system is to create a complete financial plan and a full financial team that creates a protective wall around the client.